Welcome to the Angus Warburton Podcast. I'm here with Bradley Simmonds. Bradley, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Bradley Simmonds is a fitness expert, coach, founder of Get It Done, and also runs the first live workout platform established in the UK. Furthermore, he's a Men's Health and GQ magazine cover star. He is best known for his honest, no-nonsense approach to health and fitness across social media with nearly 500,000 followers, thousands of which are Bradley's online clients. Bradley's ex-professional football career has seen him train some of the best footballers and known celebs in the country. At just 28, Bradley has multiple businesses and a whole lot more he wants to strive for. He couldn't live without his rescue dog, Roots, and would love to create his very own show on Netflix. Bradley, I'm not sure this needs answering, but why are you a winner?
I think from a very young age, I've been surrounded by winners. And I think that is so important. And for me, being a winner is someone who is very ambitious, has a vision, they plan and they go for it. They're optimistic, they believe in themselves, they're confident. And ever since footballing didn't work out for me, I was that person, optimistic. Nothing could step in my way. I knew what I wanted and I went and achieved them. Not everything went straightforward. You have your ups and downs, but never stopped and always believed in myself.
And how have you adapted that mentality? Did you just feel you were born with it, or has it built up over time?
I definitely feel like I was born with it. Ever since a young age, my mum said, I'm one of four, and my mum said I was always the one that just did what I wanted to do. Didn't need to ask any permission. I didn't need any reassurance. I just went for it. I think that is maybe having two older brothers and a sister that definitely toughened me up. I think that definitely helped. And just from a young age, I was playing for Chelsea at the age of 7. So I was always in that competitive environment, always wanting to win, playing against Arsenal, playing against Tottenham on the weekends. I want to win, and I've always had that in my mentality. So I think just at a young age, I've always been tough, and I've had that tough upbringing.
Yeah. So your football career, you obviously progressed to a point where you were probably told no at one point.
Yeah, so I got to a point where I was at Chelsea from the age of 7 all the way to the age of 16. I was told I wasn't tall enough to be a centre-back. Didn't have the ability to become a centre midfielder at the standard at Chelsea. So I went down to Queen's Park Rangers, was a small step down, played centre midfield, did very well. Bad injuries after the other. I spent the majority of my time in the physio room, which is why the transition from footballer to personal trainer was very easy for me. I didn't dwell on it and just focus and went again.
But what was that like for you? I mean, your mentality is incredible with how you respond to things, but surely in that moment when you were told no and you'd given so much time for something, that was hard for you.
It was heartbreaking. It's one of the toughest periods I've definitely gone through. But again, I just knew that I couldn't dwell on too much because I'd be left just like with my hands in my face, just worrying about the future constantly. And I said to myself, I've got to do something about this. And where I learned so much about the body, I thought, do you know what, I've got to use that to my advantage and do something different, you know? And I was just very driven from day one to prove people wrong.
Amazing. And to anyone who's going through a setback on whether it's a similar scale or not, what advice do you give to those people who just can't seem to get that fire in their belly?
You have to accept the situation. You have to accept it. You have to see the positives from that situation. And you've got to use it as fuel to go again. And like I said, mentioned literally about 10 seconds ago, prove people wrong and prove yourself wrong and prove to yourself that you can achieve anything you want to achieve. It's simple as that. It's just your mindset. How do you speak to yourself on a daily basis? Obviously, find people that inspire you, motivate you, and use that to really push yourself on.
Amazing. So the football career came to an end.
Yeah.
And how did you then transition to personal trainer? I know you said it was quite easy because you had that sporting background.
Yeah, so I simply Googled how much can a personal trainer earn? Simple as that. I am money driven. I can't hide that. And at the time I was doing my UEFA B qualification as well. I wasn't sure whether to become a footballing coach or become a personal trainer. Two simple transitions for me. I decided to go personal training route simply because personal trainers earn more money. And I was very good at it. And I really, really enjoyed it the first 6 months I did it, working at Virgin Active in Chiswick. Great place just to obviously learn my trade, learn about myself as a personal trainer. And then from there I went freelance and the rest is history.
I think my question is to you as a personal trainer, and personal trainers listening to this are listening to one of the top personal trainers in the country,
Yeah.
which is full credit to yourself. How the hell did you do it? And I know that's such a broad question,
Yeah.
but how did you go from strolling into Virgin Active for day one
Yeah.
to training top celebrities,
Yeah.
top footballers, huge social media following?
Do you know what? One of my biggest mottos is if you don't ask, you don't get. I was confident at the age of 20, I didn't have the experience, but I still was confident enough to speak to John Terry and say, do you fancy training? Speaking to all these celebrities, do you fancy training? And if you don't ask, you don't get. And for me, you learn, the best way to learn, best time to become a better personal trainer is through experience and throwing yourself in that deep end. And that's what I did from day one. And I thoroughly, really, really glad I did that. There was times where I was nervous driving to John Terry's house for the first time in my smart car. Of course, massively nervous. But again, take a deep breath and you go for it. And you just believe in yourself, you know. I've always visualized 5 years ahead and said, if I want to get to that place, I really need to push myself and put myself in the deep end right now and go for it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So I've always had that mentality, and I'm always striving to do things that people go, mate, you sure you sure you can do that? I said, yeah, of course you can. Why not?
Yeah,
I've always had that mentality.
Awesome. And do you know what I really like already hearing this conversation is the amount of self-praise you give yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people might misconstrue that as arrogance.
Yeah.
When actually someone like myself who's aspiring to get to levels like
Yeah.
yourself and above,
Yeah.
I see it very much as, confidence and self-praise, which I think is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
How important has that been on your journey? You constantly telling yourself you are good enough.
Yeah, it's been massively important because if I told myself, if I didn't believe in myself, I simply wouldn't have obviously achieved everything I've achieved in my short career, because it's still been a short career. We've got many years to go for sure. But yeah, the word arrogance, I get called arrogant quite a lot and actually take it as a compliment, because who do you know that's successful that isn't arrogant in some way, who's confident? This arrogance is a tough word because there's borderline cocky. And for me, I see arrogance as confidence because, yes, I'm confident in what I do. I'm confident I can achieve the goals I want to achieve. And many people class that as arrogance, maybe the way I'm very honest with my belief. But I think you have to be a little bit arrogant to succeed, especially in this fitness industry, because there's a lot of PTs. There's a lot of competitions. It's quite a saturated market, especially with online coaching now. So you have to have that presence. You have to have that confidence if you want to succeed, for sure.
And what would you say some of your key milestones in your career have been?
For me, just from the age of 20, hitting it running, training likes of John Terry, Jamie Redknapp, Theo Walcott, name dropping for fun, and then turning that into building a credible brand. Because I look back at my Instagram content then, and I probably would be very embarrassed now. So realizing that I need to really improve my knowledge, because what came with training these incredible athletes and celebrities became a lot of backlash and a lot of jealousy. So I said to myself, okay, I really need to improve my knowledge, which I've done, and I do lots of reading, and it's so important that you do that. That was a milestone, getting over that, and the insecurities what other personal trainers think, because that really could have knocked me, but I didn't let it. And then likes of working with Men's Health, GQ was really powerful for me. Because that got me out there, that got me built that credible brand, that allowed me to train with clients I would have only wished for when I was 20 years of age. And now this new milestone, having 2 successful businesses online, which are doing really well. Don't get me wrong, it's super tough, but I enjoy every minute of it.
Awesome. Has it ever felt lonely?
Yes, for sure. Especially around my friends who aren't in my industry, because they simply think what I'm doing is a doddle. And I don't get me wrong, what they're doing is extremely tough. But being freelance, having your own businesses, it's all on the line. It could crash tomorrow. And that's a lot of pressure, and that can cause anxiety, for example. So yeah, sometimes it has been lonely because people just think I'm laughing, I'm living the life. And it might come across that sometimes on Instagram, for example, when I'm in Bali and stuff. But when I'm in Bali, I'm still stressing out. I'm still working. I'm still on phone calls talking about what we need to improve on, what we need to do. It's not a doddle at all. But that's why I like to surround myself with other people in my industry who gets it, you know. For example, I was at White City House recently. I like to go to White City House to work, and Joe Wicks was there. And we had a good probably about a 45-minute conversation, and we just bounced, and we just related. And not many people see the tough side of being a freelance online coach, having apps, etc. It's tough.
Yeah,
and you know yourself, right?
Exactly. And the saying goes, you only get stick from people below you.
Of
And
course,
that's not
100%.
meant to be critical at all
No.
to your friends or
No.
exactly the same my way. But it's funny, you'll have this with friends and you're in the industry and
Yeah.
people around me who I'm friends with, they egg me on.
Yeah.
They build me up. And I'm
100%.
sure it's exactly the same for you.
Yeah, 100%. As you get older, your circle becomes a lot smaller, and has to be, because unfortunately there's a lot of jealousy and envious in this world. And the more successful you become, the more jealousy and the more envious people are going to become. And you have to be strong-minded to be able to deal with that. First, be able to go, see you later, don't need you in my life anymore, ta-da. And two, just keep focused.
Yeah, I always see, you've got to see friendships like relationships.
Yeah.
And I know a few people might seem that as bizarre, but friendships come and go.
Yeah,
and that's
100%.
very, very normal. And so do relationships. And I think there's a bit of a sunk cost fallacy, of course, with relationships, but also with friendships. Oh, we've been friends for years. But that doesn't really mean anything, right? If they're not giving you value,
100%.
then you've got to get rid of them.
Exactly. Friends for years, yes, I'll be at your wedding and I'll be there supporting, mate, but doesn't mean I'm going to message you every single day anymore, or we're going to go to the pub and have a beer. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing this, you're doing that. I'll support you, whatever you want to do, but unfortunately we do drift apart, and that's just life. And you have to surround yourself with like-minded people always.
Awesome. What's been one of your proudest achievements so far?
Proudest achievement so far? Definitely buying my house at the age of 23, which was pretty cool in Ealing, in West London, where I grew up. That was cool. I think being front cover Men's Health was massive for me. Like, when things didn't work out footballing wise, I said to myself, cool, I'm not going to win the FA Cup. Maybe I'll be the front cover Men's Health. And I made sure that happened, you know. And I guess just the success I've had in the last 2 years with my online app, Get It Done, has been incredible. And now I've just adapted as well, because times are different now. People aren't exactly going to the apps like Get It Done anymore. I'm maintaining my numbers for sure, but the drive for it isn't like it was during the lockdown. So I quickly have had to adapt to online coaching, and that's done really well. So yeah, so the milestone of just adapting, I think adaptation is so key.
Yeah, and you've also bought this place in the Cotswold as well?
Yes, I've bought a gorgeous little cottage in the Cotswold. So I'm trying to build my property portfolio.
Amazing. And yeah, I mean, it's fascinating to see how, the saying goes, you're at your most vulnerable when you're at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing to see someone who very much many would consider at the top of the game, you're still striving for more and more. You've spoken about, obviously, in your bio, about a Netflix series.
Yes.
What idea do you have there?
Look, I can't say too much because I'm trying to talk to the right people to obviously make it happen. It's a lot easier said than done. But again, why not? Why not? Because I watched a lot of Netflix. Well, I did during lockdown, like everyone did. And the amount of shows they had, I just thought they were cheesy. I think there's a show that needs to happen for people to actually relate to. We're living in a world right now where people are in relationships. They're not exactly happy with one another. They're in their comfort zone. How can we get that spark back? So that's a little thing that I've got this idea that I really want to go for, and just help people live a healthier lifestyle. It's seriously not that difficult. There's a solution to everyone. There's each individual, as you know, has been an online coach. Not everyone needs the same solution. We have to find different solutions for every individual, but there's always a solution for someone, always. And yeah, I just want to make a show to really inspire people. Watch that, you know what? I relate to that person. I can do exactly the same.
Mm. Do you find having, staying on the relationships chat here, do you find having an element of fame and also a social media following, it's harder to find true love?
It's a tough one,
It's just interesting because
look,
I'm sure you're in a position where there's lots of girls.
Don't get me wrong. It's not hard to get attention. It's not hard to get attention at all. When I was younger, I actually thrived with it. Absolutely loved it. I wouldn't say now that I don't enjoy it, but I'm not as excited as I used to be because I'm getting to the point now. Well, I'm 29 in a couple of months. I would love to meet the person. I wouldn't say now is the right time because I'm so focused on my career, which I think you need to be. And as us males, we've got a little bit longer than the other sex. But yes, it is. It is harder for me right now, of course. But that's just the way it is. That is just the way it is, unfortunately. I was listening to another podcast. I can't exactly remember what podcast it was. And basically saying that women find status, fame, someone who's successful, attractive. Us males, we find good looks, nice personality, attractive. Not necessarily their career comes in mind. So I guess I'm in that percentage where I guess I'm young, I'm successful right now. So I'm getting a lot of attention, which is fine, which is cool. But my worry is those men that aren't right now in my situation. So I do worry for those men, and I know there's a big mental health problem right now with young men. And again, that's why I want to be a role model to these young men to say, look, focus on your career, focus on being as healthy as you can, surround yourself with good people that are going to push you, that are going to motivate you and inspire you. Get out of this rut of playing PlayStation, eating bad food, and just being a victim of life. Do you know what I mean? Like, get up and go. And this is a concern I have right now, for sure.
Yeah, and I think, male loneliness is a huge thing for many. And you're clearly very fortunate in the sense of you've had lots of attention.
And I'm sure you have as well.
It's all right. But yeah, it's one of those things where, I even speak to some of my friends, and I'm sure you're exactly the same, where you of course genuinely feel sorry for them. So the idea of creating something where, the connection is everything, right?
Mm-hmm, of course.
But it was fascinating you said about kind of what a woman looks for.
Not all women.
Not all women.
I'm probably generalizing a little bit, but not all women for sure. But from my experience, maybe the world I'm living in, that's what a lot of women tend to look for.
Do you have any regrets?
Of course, we all make mistakes. What, in relationship wise?
No, just as a whole.
Do I have any regrets? Look, the lessons. I wouldn't say they're regrets. They're lessons. We all learn from our lessons. I think we all need lessons when it comes to business, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to friendships. We all need lessons to grow as a person, to become a better person, become a better business person. Do I have any regrets? There's probably things I'll differ, but again, I've learned from those mistakes, But no, I wouldn't say there's nothing that pings in my mind a massive regret. Not at all. Maybe there's one time in my career where I went for a really tough breakup and I just had a complete blur when my career was going crazy well. Maybe there's a regret for me not just to, like I say, man up and get on with it. But of course, it's tough. So no, I wouldn't have any regret. My lesson would be, if something's not right in a relationship, end it there and then. Don't drag it on, because it's only get worse and it's only going to become more toxic. So if you see that, let's say that red flag, as people like to say, talk about it, think about it. And if you know it's not right, move on there and there.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's all down to what I said earlier with the sunk cost fallacy, right?
Yeah.
Again, friendships, relationships. Oh, I've been friends with them or been with them for 4 years.
Yeah.
That's not a reason to stay with someone.
No.
Just because you've been with them for a period of time,
no,
right?
Of course.
What advice would you give to a younger you?
The advice I give to my younger me, stay fully focused, because you can reach serious potential. You can really reach your potential if you stay seriously focused. There's been times where I haven't been focused. Maybe when in my younger days, I got carried away with earning good money, spending it on stupid things, etc. Again, that's a lesson, and I'm glad I had that lesson because I'm not like that anymore. But I would say to my younger self, stay super focused and do what you want to do. Again, I've recently just asked my management to let me go. And that's a big risk, for example. But in life, you have to take risk. And maybe I should have done it 2 years ago. The reason I did it because it's a comfort zone and everything's smooth, everything's cool. But now I see myself as an entrepreneur. I don't necessarily need a management. And I feel like it's a weight off my shoulders now. I'm just going to go. I'm going to do exactly what I want without people saying, oh, I'm not sure you need to do this. I'm not sure you do that. I'm going to go. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Do you understand? Going back to, I can't remember your question. Maybe I'm talking a bit much.
Talking about kind of advice you'd give to a younger you.
Yeah, I would just say just focus on your journey constantly. Don't allow anyone to knock your confidence. Don't allow anyone to say that you can't do something, and just go for it.
Yeah, but I'm sure you've had setbacks along the way through your fitness career
Mm-hmm.
that have been setbacks that not only are business setbacks, but personal setbacks.
Yeah.
How have you bounced back from those?
Again, just accept the situation. Think how you could have done better. Set a new goal and carry on and go with it.
Because you've
Simple as
had,
that.
in the last few years, quite a traumatic time. You've been through it at times, haven't you? And obviously, did that amazing thing for charity.
Yeah, that was tough. That was a very tough. I didn't after my very good friend Caroline passed away. I hadn't personal trained for 6 months after that. I couldn't do it. I tried to. Went into the same gym as I was obviously trained Caroline, and it was a real struggle. So I didn't do it for 6 months. And it got to a point where I really missed it because I was just spending all my time get it done, which was doing great. But the novelty of anything wears off, right? So me and just on a screen all the time. So I missed that one-on-one interaction. So I just said to myself, look, just do it. You're going to help other clients. And I got back into the gym and I'm training a few clients here and there, but not as much as I used to. And I love it, But that was a very, very tough period. Very tough period. But no, look, she's in a better place now, and I'm sure she's looking down on me and very proud.
I bet she is. And what things did you do on a personal level to help overcome such a traumatic time for you?
I spoke to my friends, my family, and mutual friends I had with Caroline. And it was a tough time for all of us, but that togetherness, talking about the good times, celebrating what an amazing person she was, really did help. And that's why I wanted to create that Climb for Caroline charity event I did. Like myself, Lou Teasdale, Ollie Mers, and all the others that joined us. It was an incredible experience. And we just laughed. Yes, we cried at sometimes, but we laughed. And I think that's so important.
How important have personal relationships been in your journey to success today?
Yeah, massively. Like, there's a lot of people I can thank massively for helping me during my journey. Of course, my managers for one. I'm not saying that I got rid of them because they helped me massively through my 9 years. You've got clients that really pushed me, that saw a real potential in me, introduced me to the right people, because I think those connections are so key. Having good connections is so important. So there's a lot of people to thank for helping me get to the point where I am now. But go back to, again, I wouldn't be where I am to now if I didn't believe in myself. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And they knew that I believed in myself, so they pushed me.
100%. I'm fascinated by the story about Roots.
My dog, yeah.
What made you bring Roots back to the UK?
So I've always wanted a dog ever since a young kid. My mum was one of 4 of us. Mum said, I don't need another animal in the house. So it's like, fair enough, Mum, you've got enough to handle. But every Christmas list was, I want a dog. I was on a dog. Anyway, got to a point where I'm now living in my own apartment. I said, I can get myself a dog. Cool. Maybe I'll get one after I go to St. Lucia on holiday. Went to St. Lucia on holiday. Incredible place to go. We highly recommend it. And we're just coming back from the Roots and Soul Festival. Pitch black. We're driving down by the beach. Quite a rough part of St. Lucia. And this little puppy ran across the road. We nearly ran over. Stopped the car. I was with JP Cooper at the time. He's a great artist and a good friend of mine. We stopped the car and this little puppy's running to the bush. I was like, God, hey, stop. So I put my hand into the bush. It's like, please don't bite me. Obviously rabies, all sorts. You don't know what you're gonna get. Anyway, I just looked at him and his tail started wiggling, and that was it for me. I was like, God, I've fallen in love with this dog. Got him treated. Spoke to a vet. Asked her to help me out to bring him back to the UK. She did everything for me. And took him back to the UK, and I'm here ever since. He's usually everywhere with me. I'm surprised actually you haven't brought him with me, but he was sleeping. We went for a big walk this morning, so he's sleeping. He's relaxed at home, and do you know what? He's been amazing for my calmness. People say, "What is your do you meditate?" I'm like, "Yeah, I meditate every day," and they expect me to be by my bedside. And so, no, that's not my meditation. My meditation is going for an hour walk with Roots, either listen to a podcast or just in silence, walking down the river and just chilling. That is my form of meditation. That's why I can really switch off. I put my phone in airplane mode, and that's my time just to calm down and just switch off. And it's just me and Roots. And I think that's powerful for many people if they can have access to a dog. Because one, if they can get a dog, one gets your steps up. So it's a very healthy way of living, and it can seriously help with your mental state.
What are your other daily rituals that that keep up this high performance of Bradley Simmonds?
It's been organised. In my younger days, I wasn't organised. There were times where I'd have clients waiting, for example, because I was doing so much. I was so ambitious. I just wanted to do everything. And I'd have a client say, I'm here. I'm like, what do you mean you're here? Do you know what I mean? So I had to learn from those mistakes. So organisation is so key. I have my sister who's now working for me, and she keeps me nice and organised. So this investment is key. I can't do everything by myself, which I now realise. So I've got really good support around me with my online coaching, get it done, and just my personal stuff. So having a PA is really important. But yeah, my daily rituals is literally wake up first thing in the morning, get some fresh air, breathe some fresh air, take roots out for a nice walk, and just visualize the day ahead, and just with a bit of calmness. And then from there, you can go.
Do you ever struggle to relax?
Yes, it's my biggest problem.
Really?
Yeah.
And what things do you do to try and relax? Because I'm one of those people that when I go on holiday, the only way I relax is doing stuff.
Yes, 100%. I'm like you, going hiking, for example. I can't sit on a sunbed on holiday for too long. Yes, I need that little tan, but I can't sit there for more than an hour. No way. And even when I'm sitting there for an hour, I'm either talking to someone or my brain's just going crazy. Thinking about new ideas. I can do this, I can do that. So I've really tried hard, and I've tried my hardest to be present. That's one of my biggest problems. I think that's what affected my relationships. Looking back, is just not being present, always just thinking ahead, just never being able to just switch off and just have that calmness. But it's not a bad problem to have. I think most entrepreneurs or successful people have the same thing going on. They just can't switch off. But I do understand it's really important. I don't have a TV in my apartment.
Interesting.
Yes.
Not a Netflix watcher?
Not really. I used to be, obviously, during COVID, because I was exhausted from my workouts. All I wanted to do was do Netflix. But with online coaching, it's pretty full on right now. Do you know what I mean?
But you must have had times where you've burnt out a little bit and just been like, I need to step back.
Yeah, there's been times when
What are those signs?
Well, one, crashing my smart car when I was younger. Had a bad car accident. Realised, cool, I need to change things. I need to go more online and trying to train 10, 12 clients a day, trying to fill it all in. And again, that's where investment is key. Employing people to help you climb that mountain.
100%. I think that's so important. I think there's an idea as an individual, as your brand grows, that you can do things on your own, when actually
you can't.
Investing in a team and investing in people who support you is the right thing to do. And also accept you're going to get things wrong, right?
100%. Like, my outgoings right now are crazy because I'm paying certain people, right? And I look at that, I'm like, oh God, that's not nice to see. However, the 6 to 8 months of the year that I've been paying these people, my salary has gone up double, because these people add great value, things that I can't do, and I've had to accept that. At school, I wasn't the most educated, academic person, and I don't mind saying that, because I think a lot of people that weren't that quite academic are serious winners and serious entrepreneurs and very successful people. I've always had to say, look, I didn't go to Harvard, but I'll have people that went to Harvard working for me. Do you know what I mean? And I've always said that. And I know how important it is to have that team around me.
Going back to school, was it tough for you?
No, I love school. I absolutely love school. I'm a very social person and got good friendship groups. It was tough on an academic level because all I thought about was becoming a footballer. So any lesson that I didn't enjoy, I majority of the time got kicked out of that class or sent out of that class. If it was a subject that I really enjoyed, I could focus, and I was one of the best in the class at that subject. But I used to love going to school. I was the sort of kid that wouldn't do his homework. I'd be at the back of the bus doing his homework last minute. I saw school as fun rather than I need to do this to be success'll.
Yeah, sounds like I'm talking to myself a little bit. I was exactly the same.
But kids are different, and I see when I see, because I've got clients who've got young kids, for example, and the amount of pressure they put on them to be so academic at school, and I can sense in them that they're going to be very entrepreneurial. Do you know what I mean? And you're killing their character in certain ways. You're making them into a robot. So just be careful,
100%. And you and I both didn't go down the university route.
And I did a post on my stories about this, and I got quite a lot of backlash.
Why do you think, though, usually that backlash is from people who...
It's a backlash from people that went to university aren't successful.
Yeah.
100%. And they see someone that didn't go to university and are successful. Look, I still want to be a lot more successful than I am, but I'm doing well. And people who have got degrees and spent 5, 6 years, 7 years in university, still on 50, 60, 70 grand a year, are fuming, right? It's just the way it is. And I've said to a lot of my friends, do you really need to go to university? Like, why don't you just become an electrician? And then from the age of, let's say 17 to 20, you've learned your trade, you start your own business. By the time you're 28, you've got 10 people working for you. You're laughing. And people don't see it. And when I was younger, I thought everyone had my mindset. And I couldn't work it out why people were just going to university and spending 4 years and spending an absolute fortune, getting steaming 5 nights a week. Don't get me wrong, I missed out on that. But I'm very thankful that I didn't go to university.
Yeah, 2 things on top of that. With going to university, more often than not, a lot of people I know who went, they kind of said, well, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
That's a classic line.
Yeah.
And also the words, oh, but the experience. Trust me, life is a lot better as an experience when you are doing a job that you enjoy and you're making a success out of it. And I'm sure, you're a prime example of that and you believe that too.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I know if I went to university, I would have failed probably. The amount of coursework, etc., just not for me. I'm a very practical person. I have to be on the gym floor. I have to be practical. I have to be doing things. And there's many people like that similar to me, but they've gone to university, they're pulling their hair out, they're drinking Monster till 4 or 5 in the morning just to make their parents proud. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
It's absolute madness. So I truly believe there's some people 100% need to go to university.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, if you want to be a doctor,
of course 100%.
Those kind of things.
But there's a lot of people who can probably relate to this or relate to my character, your character, go, do you know what? I probably don't need to go to university. If you've got a passion for fitness, become a personal trainer, online coach, you can build up. You have to build up on TikTok these days, not Instagram, unfortunately, or start a podcast, get the right people on board. There's definitely ways of building it. You just got to think outside the box and got to go for it. Or if you want to start your own business, anything you do, get the right contacts, get the right experience. Only need 2 or 3 and off you go.
Yeah. What advice would you give to a day one personal trainer then?
A day one personal trainer, I think.
Who obviously wants to build and be, let's say, the next Bradley Simmonds for this conversation.
I think you have to set yourself smaller goals to be able to achieve that bigger goal. You need to learn your trade. You need to learn what type of personal trainer you want to be. You have to be a busybody. You have to ask constant questions to people who have got the experience, who might not have the ambition that you have. So you can gain that experience, but you've got the ambition. So you're going to potentially go further than them. And yeah, you just need to surround yourself with people who are doing a lot better than you. If you're good energy and good character, people will want you around. So yeah, don't be scared to ask questions. Make sure you put the work in. And go freelance as soon as you can, because yes, it's a risk, but it's a risk worth taking. I still go to Virgin Active today, 9 years later, or 9 years later, and the same PTs are there in there working, right? And they're earning 35, 40 grand a year. Great. Some people aren't ambitious. That's brilliant. But you can charge £250 an hour if you're training clients in Berkeley Square in Mayfair. Do you know what I mean?
Example.
Exactly. And I'm trying to say to PTs, if you get yourself out there, if you go take the risk, become freelance, the right contacts, if they lead to one to the other, if you do a good job, if you're a likable person, it can lead to bigger things. You just need to take the risks, especially when you're young. I was very fortunate because I was living in West London. Mum and Dad weren't charging me any rent because they knew that I was going to go places. So they didn't want to put that, do you know what I mean, that stress on me.
Yeah.
If they thought I was a bum, they would have been charging me rent for sure.
Yeah. I mean, but it goes to show, I know that your parents, and I know they love you, and I know they care about you dearly, but another prime example of surrounding yourself with people who support you and genuinely believe that you're going to the top.
100%.
Like the importance of that for you is just right there in front of you, right?
100%. Like I happily say, I was recently living with someone who for me was just bad energy. Like it was just bad energy. It started off very well. We were good pals. And then I just sensed this weird energy. And there was nothing I was doing. I was just being myself. And what did I do? Sorry, mate, you've got to go. See you later. And we're no longer friends because of it. but it is what it is. You have to be ruthless, because if someone is sapping your energy, that is going to affect everything. And I say this with girlfriend, boyfriends. If someone's bringing you down, if someone's not helping you reach your full potential, see ya. Yeah, especially in your young 20s, see you later. Thank you for the lessons. It's been great. We've had some great memories. See you later. If we're meant to be, we'll meet up in 4 years' time. If you got a mate who wants to be in your position, wants to be in your shoes, but can't get there because he didn't have the ambition that you had, and he's trying to bring you down, he's trying to banter you, he's trying to joke you, and you know those jokes are quite spiteful. You laugh it off to begin with. And it's not just him that makes a joke, it's him laughing about it as well. Because you go, hang a minute, are you in this there? See you later. The way it is. I'm very fortunate. I got 2 older brothers who are my bestest mates. We was watching Spurs yesterday and we're in an empty pub and we went crazy when we scored the lot. And I'm very fortunate. I got my 2 brothers who love me dearly and just push me and support me. There's no competition there, which is great. And I've got about, I say 3 or 4 mates who I really, really adore being around, who are ambitious, and we push each other. And we just have ideas. What do you think about this? And we're true with each other. Mate, the only way you're going to be able to do that is you do. Are you willing to do that? Honest, be honest as well. Be honest. I want to see you do so well, but let's be honest about it as well. So honesty is good.
Yeah, I think particularly as men, who a lot of people would look at yourself, and I'm sure myself too, as people, they're in good nick. They're clearly happy the whole time. Yeah. I think a huge reason to why I'm so happy pretty much 24/7. Okay, I have my down moments.
Yeah.
I talk to people. I'm so open and honest to my closest friends. You know one of them very well.
Yeah, James, good lad.
The level of conversation we have, I remember, even doing the podcast with James, and we spoke on a very open level in the podcast like we are here.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get over, some of my clients who are kind of in their late 30s, early 40s, for example, who were like, how can you guys talk about that so openly and so publicly? And I was fascinated when they said that. And I just think it's so, so important that with your closest friends, if you can't be honest about how you're feeling, that's such a telling sign that they shouldn't be your friends.
No, it's so true. But then I guess that generation, it's all about being a man. And don't get me wrong, I still feel like you have to be masculine in today's world. You still have to be a man. But talk in today's world is being a man. Being honest is being a man. So hopefully our generation, but especially the next generation, can obviously take that on board. Unfortunately, the generation before us really struggled. So hopefully the new generation can take that on board. But it'll be tough for them because, like I mentioned, like we spoke about earlier, young men are really struggling right now. And it's mad. It's like it's a word epidemic in young men mental health. It's crazy, mate.
It's incredibly sad. But it's finding that happy medium, right, as well. I think, you and I both, we talk about how, discipline, mental toughness, turning up every single day. But it's finding that happy medium when you are struggling, just sitting down with a mate and going, mate, I'd love to get your opinion on this.
100%.
And it's being open and honest about that, right?
100%. And I think a lot of men really struggle when relationships don't go well. It's my biggest weakness. For sure.
Really?
Yeah, mate, massively. Probably why I've got this barrier up now. I'm like, now I'm going to be single until I'm very successful.
Do you question yourself? Is that why? And you're constantly like, is this my fault? Or is it more...
No, I guess in the relationships I've been in, I've been happy and I've been so focused as well. And it probably wasn't enough for my partner at the time. And then we start clashing. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? And then I get told, you don't do this for me, you're not doing that. Then I was like, oh shit, cool. Okay, cool. Well, I'm clearly not ready for a relationship, for full commitment then. See you later, unfortunately. And then you've got 6 months to try and cope with that breakup, seeing them move on. And then you're trying to move on. You finally move on. You go, Jesus Christ, thank God for that. I'm finally in a good place now. Boom, back focused. Let's go. Do you know what I mean? But I think a lot of men really struggle with that. I guess it's an ego thing, maybe.
Of course.
Emotional intelligence. I don't know.
I think there are times when naturally, if you're a high-performing individual, that someone who you're in a relationship with, if you don't feel like they're at your level or pushing themselves to their limit, that can, to you, become something that's actually quite unattractive.
Yeah, for sure.
And it brings you down.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've had relationships I definitely have in the past where I've just felt you're holding me back.
Yeah.
Which is a
Massively.
very, very hard thing to say to someone
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the time they haven't necessarily done anything wrong,
No,
right?
no. It's just, you're just not compatible.
But if you are in that person, whether you're a man or a woman,
Yeah.
if you feel like you're pushing yourself to your limit and the other person in your relationship isn't, and you feel like they're holding you back, it's highly unlikely that's going to change.
No.
You either have that mentality or you don't, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So yeah, I'm looking for that one that's going to keep pushing me and we're going to be a team, you know?
I'm sure it's around the corner.
We'll
Sure, it's
see.
around the
We'll
corner.
see.
What would you say the single most valuable piece of advice you've ever been given?
My granddad, when I was in the early stages of my PT career, and I was quite insecure with other PTs, what they were saying about me online, commenting on my content, for example. And my granddad just simply said, if they're not talking about you, you're doing something wrong. Simple as that. And ever since he said that, that's just allowed me to do what I've got to do and not worry about what other people have to say. That was a really key advice at a very point in my career where I was so young, doing so successful, and probably wasn't experienced enough to be doing what I was doing. And then Brendan Rodgers said to me, always listen, even to the idiots, because you'll always learn something. And at first I was like, what do you mean? And I have been around many idiots, especially in our industry, the Instagram world. And I'm like, I'm not going to be like you. Thank you for being an idiot today, because I'm never going to be like you. Do you know what I mean? So, so there have been two really key pieces of advice from my granddad and Brendan Rodgers. What's been yours? I'm intrigued.
Single most valuable piece of advice. Mine was actually from a taxi driver in Wigan.
Okay,
I was getting a taxi from the station. And he said, people are going to give you shite for whatever you do in life.
Yep.
So bloody well enjoy it.
Exactly.
And I loved it. And it stuck with me to this day. And it's so, so true because, you know, through school, and I'm sure there's actually people who are at school with me listening to this. And I had a hard shell.
Mm-hmm.
And I had admittedly a big, big ego.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily the best thing. But because I had that hard shell, I was indirectly bullied every single day. And I don't label it as bullying because at the time I always laughed it off. I was a class clown. I was very popular in my year group.
Yeah.
But if you went off vocal bullying, I was the most bullied in the year group, which is fascinating. Now I've actually processed it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any, sad feelings about it because I loved school and I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
But just because, I was called dumb, I was called stupid, like all through those teenage years. And it's fascinating now how it's given me that fire in the belly to, prove them wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, it's I'm now doing something where, and I was at an incredible school.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of them will be looking at me. I, brought out the book this week.
It's class,
and they'll be like, as if he's written a book.
Yeah.
He was an idiot.
Yeah, of course.
And I just know that's from a place of bitterness.
Yeah, of
and
course.
It just fires me up.
Yeah, 100%,
and it's great.
100%.
And I'm sure you're exactly the same, with haters you've had commenting on stuff.
Yeah,
It just gives you that fire.
It does give you that fire in your belly, 100%. 100%. Yeah. But it's not the only thing that fuels me. I fuel myself every single day because I set myself goals and I've got things I want to achieve. What would you say is your biggest...
we've turned the tables here.
I know. I'm intrigued. Well, my brother asked me the other day, what's your biggest worry in life? It's like, for me, it's failure. And that drives me.
I think failure I don't fear too much.
Yeah, what's your biggest fear? That's the word, sorry.
I wouldn't say I fear it too much. I'm a very, very happy, upbeat person.
Yeah.
And that's genuine. And I fear that one day that might fade.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I fear most, which is, I guess, quite a lucky thing. And also, I'm sure like you, I fear in a year's time being in the same position. So obviously, failure is a fear, right?
But as a man, like, for example, you're 24. So when I was 24, luckily I was able to buy my first house, for example. So I was able to get on the market. Like, have you been able to get your first house?
Not quite.
So this is what men, I feel, struggle with because they get closer to 30 and time goes quick. I'm 29 in a couple of months. Where's that gone? And it's that pressure of, okay, I need to get a house. Like, and how hard is it right now to get a house? Like, it's mad. Like, putting 25% deposit down on a house these days is insane. for some people who can't even, they're just living by and live in London. You have to be on decent money to really enjoy living in London. And that's another pressure for men right now, for sure. Yeah. And that's when you get older, you go, shit, like that fear a little bit comes in. Am I going to achieve what I want to achieve? I've always said to myself, I want to live in Parsons Green. Okay, I live on the river, but I actually want to buy myself a family home one day in Parsons Green. I looked at it, it's 4.5 million for the type of house I want. Do you know what I mean?
It's going to happen though.
It will happen.
You've got to have that mentality.
I am going to make it happen, of course. I got to work hard. I still got a few years to really work hard to make sure that happen. But that's incredible. It's tough. It's tough work out there. It's not like when our parents were growing up. My dad bought the house for about 100 grand in Ealing. It's now worth like 1.9. It's mad.
Yeah.
And these are the pressures that us men do have.
100%. But I would also say it's not a necessity to buy, right?
No.
And I think, from speaking from your position of success, where you've been able to, buy a property in Ealing, obviously buy a
place in the Cotswolds,
in the Cotswolds, I think there is, of course, a pressure. But if you're incredibly happy in your life, you feel fulfilled, you've got good people around you, you're winning.
100%.
I think there's an idea that, people will look at yourself on social media, which is very much a highlight reel. Of course it is.
Yeah.
That they might think, oh gosh, I'm not good enough. But actually those three things, of just being content in yourself, feeling fulfilled, enjoying what you do and having good people around you, I think you're very much winning in life.
Cool. So maybe that's where I need to improve on, because I'm constantly putting pressure on myself to achieve everything I want to achieve.
It's very noticeable. It is very noticeable.
Yeah.
Of course, your mentality is amazing.
Yeah.
But just from this conversation, obviously you've said you struggle to relax as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Which, a lot of people would prefer to have your mentality. But it goes to show that no matter what level you get to, everyone is going through something. Yeah. And that's one thing this podcast has helped me discover. And I've spoken to, obviously, James. I've spoken to Rich, who's an MMA fighter. I've spoken to Sophie Grace Holmes, who's an incredible triathlete, and people like that. And no matter, every time I've had someone in the studio, like yourself, who I very much, through my years as a PT, I'm still very young as a PT as well, very much looked up to. I've gone, actually, you're going through stuff as well.
Oh yeah, all of us.
Yeah, and I think there's this idea that, someone who has an element of fame and is successful and has a social media following isn't. Social media is a highlight reel.
Oh, massively, of course. 100%. And don't get me wrong, in the last year I've been super happy. I've been able to go to places like Monaco, Bali, Israel. I'm very fortunate. But that doesn't mean, like I mentioned before, that we have our struggles and we have our stresses. And again, that's probably down to my own ambitious self, striving to what I want to achieve. Yeah. Maybe I need to address that. But again, I know for a fact that I am going to achieve that one day. But the problem is, when I do achieve that, I'm going to have another goal that I want to achieve. So when does it stop?
Yeah.
But no, it's something I'm sure I need to address. But yeah, I'm sure I will do.
Deep down, would you say you're happy?
Deep down, would I say I am happy?
Sorry, that's quite a deep question.
That is a very deep question. I know I can be happier. But I am happy for sure. I know I'm in a very good, fortunate situation. There are times I'm happier than other times. But yeah, no, in general, I'm definitely happy. I'm very fortunate I've got people around me. But I am happy. But could I be happier? For sure.
And what are those things that stand out to you that are, you could be happier for?
Just letting go of how ambitious I am, I guess, sometimes. Maybe that can make me a little bit happier and just, like you said, just go, have I got this? Have I got that? Yes. And that's cool. But unfortunately, it's just not in my nature. It's just not in my nature.
Which is something you just have to deal with, right?
Yeah, I guess it's something I have to deal with.
Yeah.
Do I have to do more meditation to realize that? Do I need to switch off more? Maybe. But I thrive of being ambitious and waking up every day. I thrive of it. That's my purpose. I strongly believe we need a purpose in life. Because I'm so ambitious, I get up every single day with no problem and smashing the day ahead. Do you know what I mean? And when people say to me, like, how do you stay motivated all the time? I was like, mate, I'm just consistent, man. I'm just driving and I'm pushing. I want to achieve what I want to achieve. And I know if I sit still, I won't be able to do it. But yeah.
Discipline as well.
Yeah, discipline is massively key.
Turning up when you don't want to.
Yeah, 100%. That's key. And people have heard that on many podcasts, many
I bet, yeah, of course.
But it is so true. discipline is so key. And you say that to all my online clients. It's like, I feel really low today. No way. Still get in that gym, and guarantee you after that workout, you're going to feel a lot better. You're going to have to really dig deep and push yourself through that one. All right, having a shot on, have an espresso to give that caffeine kick. But once you do that workout, you're going to feel $1 million. But it's not only until you experience that, because many people haven't experienced that, you won't know what it's like. It's like, I don't wake up every day and go, I'm buzzing for a workout, or I'm buzzing to go for a 10K run. No, it's the feeling after that I absolutely buzz off, which makes a huge difference to why I'm so consistent, because I understand that feeling, and I understand what that feeling does for my mental state, my confidence, and my consistency to be continuously to grow and strive and move forward. And many people on a strut right now, and they need to get out of strut. And it's the hardest thing to do is get over that first hurdle. But this is where you have to dig deep. You have to buy yourself some new fitness clothes. You have to invest into, let's say, an online coach or personal trainer to guide you, to make you accountable. And then once you go past that first hurdle and you experience the endorphins and what exercise can do for you, you're a new person. And it's as simple as that. People go, how can I get out of this rut? You just need to dig deep. You have to dig deep. Many people did it in many generations past us. And I feel like this generation maybe be a little bit softer. It's known as the soft lake for sure. Everyone's like, yeah, I'm the same. So if you're the same and I'm the same, that means it's fine because we're both the same. I'm surrounding myself with people just going, yeah, it's not great, is it? No. As much as you love those people, surround yourself with people, yeah, I'm going for a run. I don't want to go for a run, but I know what's going to do for my health. Come and join me. Okay, do you know what? Yeah, I'm going to come and join. I'm going to experience it. That's what people need to start doing.
Yeah, and actually, often as our generations pass and people do get a little bit softer, it makes it easier and easier to actually stand out from the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are someone who's got that element of mental toughness about them, use it.
And then again, that person who isn't like everyone else is called arrogant. Do you understand?
Mm.
So me waking up every day and telling people you need to do this, walking into a bar with confidence, he's arrogant, isn't he?
Mm.
No, I'm just happy. I'm confident. I've got a great routine going on. That's why I'm feeling great right now. The fact that you're sitting there and you're low and you're calling me arrogant is a problem. You need to change your lifestyle. Yeah. You want to be called arrogant too. Trust me, because it means you're in a good place.
Kill them with success and bury them with a smile.
Exactly. Great line that.
One of my favourite sayings. On that note, Bradley, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the Angus Warburton Podcast, and I thoroughly enjoyed that conversation.
Mate, it was a great conversation. We could talk and talk and talk, I'm sure.
We could indeed, but I feel there's so much quality content within that hour that we'll wrap it up there. Just in short, where can people find you?
So people can find me on Instagram, Bradley Simmonds. If you're interested in my Get It Done platform, quick workout, £25 a month, gets you going, gets you fit, keeps you accountable. If you want to spend a little bit more money, you want to invest, online coaching, Bradley Simmonds online. And I will give you your nutrition plan, your workout program, and I'll get you as fit and as confident as you can possibly be.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Bradley.
Mate, legend.